Celtic? Yeah, but it's like a Celtic rock band.
Yeah, it's like heavy
and,
metal Celtic or
but,
something weird.
and they're like really big. I don't know, it's a thing. So you find places, it's not like you can only have one place to express your creativity, I guess. So, but that's great, because we do come from opposite ends of the spectrum, where he came in with a completely different style and different things he liked to do, whereas I grew up in it, and I'm just so, it's like part of me, that is my style, this is the way I play here, that's what I love. And so when I hear something that doesn't quite fit it, it's more like, oh no, that's not, you know what I'm saying, it doesn't sit right. And so, whereas he came from a different background, so it's great because it's completely different perspective.
But she'll challenge it too. If I'm overplaying, she will say, you gotta simplify. And that's when you choose to submit at that point, for the sake of people experiencing God in the greatest way possible. You take that road, and then it goes like it should. So you should always default to honor, and then you don't have the egos that clash and say, I should be able to do that.
But that culture has to be developed and cultivated. That takes a lot of time and a lot of relationship, a lot of outside of church hanging out, a lot of community, a lot of all that. So, and that's really important. I think like bands mesh so much better when you play together often, when there's consistency among the team, and when you're hanging out and you're actually friends.
I use my off time to practice chord progression because I'm playing 1.5, so to speak, or even higher. And so, just like you say, instead of trying to beat all over the keyboard to keep yourself in one place, because I'm singing too, I practice the chord progression so that when I play the songs, I'm not stumbling over stuff.
Right.
I'm stumbling where to go, so that I'm with the rest of the band.
That's a great way to do it.
I was gonna ask, if do you have any nuggets that you would give it? Like, I play the keys, piano, lead sing, and worship leader at the same time. So I'm getting lost. But
I feel you on that, because I do a lot of multitasking with my job responsibilities, and singing too. Something will go on autopilot. So, I mean, just undoubtedly, something's going to go on autopilot. So like you're saying, you practice your chord progression so that when you play, it's there and you can think about singing or whatever.
Exactly.
So I don't think there, I mean, other than just doing it, I don't know that there's much of a way to really practice it, other than it just really becoming ingrained in your thinking and it becomes your autopilot to where you don't have to think. But I don't think there's any other way to do it other than practicing.
And it's
Unless
probably set
you're-
by priority too, like what's your priority?
Right, so are you the worship leader and then your backup? You know, because sometimes I have to revert to, I'm the music director and I'm like a backup pianist. You know what I'm saying? Like last night I was a music director and a secondary, you know, piano was secondary responsibility.
So how do you make that call of, I need to focus on something else, that if I'm backup piano and I'm the only piano, like.
Right. Yeah, that's hard, because you might not have to do it all. You might not have the luxury of having a priority, is what you're saying, yeah, that's a good question. But I think being able to because you can switch, so I think having the sensitivity and the awareness to know when to switch is good. Like, maybe you need to, maybe there's different parts of the set that you say, okay, I kind of need to, maybe you look at your song list and you say, these are the points in my song list where I need to be focusing on piano or something, and then maybe you have another singer with you that you could delegate that part to them leading. Or maybe there's ways that you could look at your song list more like that, where you're a little bit more strategic about the way you're approaching it because you don't have that luxury. Do you have anything to add?
And maybe like what she's saying, maybe the piano still happens, but you simplify what you play, which causes you then to engage the part that needs to be priority. So if you're leading the song, you block chords might be the best thing versus trying to play all the rhythm.
Forever your part while you're singing or something.
Exactly.
Like,
maybe the guitar player plays that line, so
realistic.
you don't have to, so you can just sing. So maybe you simplify.
Right, and that's a good idea too. Like maybe you revert to playing a pad, and the acoustic guitar takes a more leading role with playing.
Okay.
I think you can do it. You can.
Well, I've been
And you
doing
can-
it, but
yeah,
I'm
but you
just
just
now
don't feel like
realizing
you're
like there's so much more that I could do.
Right.
I gotta wear like 3 hats. that's what I'm right now trying to find somebody, because that would be, I would love that.
Even if they don't know that much, they really don't have to know that
Yeah.
much. And it's not to dumb down what we do, but it's so simple that it, even if they just watch you for a couple months, just have them watch you, and then on the side kind of show them how to do some different things or something. We've had some of our drummers have become keys players, some of our bass players have become keys players, lots of people can swap. I'm not one of those people, I just do what I do, but a lot of people have picked up extra stuff, so there might even be, an extra person that you have that might take interest in it.
Like a guitar player.
Like a guitar player who could have an extra little keyboard with them, and there's certain spots in the set where they pick it up or something.
Okay, different question. How is what you hear in your in-ears pretty close to what is front of house?
No.
Okay, so my electric guitar player, I feed on the piano and spiritually off of what he's doing. I can go places in spirit when he plays, but then there's other times where I'm just like, if you don't back down and be quiet, or if there's something that I'm trying to pull out of the piano, but everything else is so loud that I can't hear it. Is that just communication with, right, we don't have meters yet, so we're on monitors. Is that just communication, like song to song with the sound guy? Can you bring this part down in the monitors for this thing, or is that just have a fundraiser for your
Maybe both. I think it's good sometimes to have particular mix notes for your tech people, if there are things because sometimes they don't know.
Yeah.
So sometimes if we're doing a new song, they tend to pump the electrics, and it's like, well, piano needs to sit on top on this song or whatever. So I think it is good to have that communication with your tech people to say, but also. So, and then maybe sometimes it is a communication thing even with your guitar player to say, hey, maybe on this song, like, I need to have more of a strong presence, and maybe you could pull back some on this one, especially if you're the leader, you have the authority to say that. So, ultimately, the band is there to serve the vision of the worship pastor. Whoever's there, even if there's a music director or a vocal director or whoever else is leading, it really doesn't matter. The bottom line is the worship leader or the worship pastor, whoever's facilitating. And so even me, music directing or whatever, I'm just trying to facilitate where he wants to go. And if I'm not helping do that, then we might as well not have a music director, because then it's just a hindrance. So same goes for your team. Like, I think if you want to position, and you just give direction for those kind of dynamics, especially if you feel that, like sometimes it really helps, and then sometimes you're like, this is whatever, then just, say, maybe let's kind of, tone it back here at this spot or whatever. I don't know if that helps.
It does.
And a fundraiser for monitors.
Well, and Jessica does a great job of that. If she's unsure, she will have us pull back more until the song has been established. So she'll say, maybe guys, for this part, we should pull back more to allow things to see what comes forward. Because she's not sure, she doesn't want to let everybody have a free-for-all. So if anything, default to pull back more, see what happens, and then the song can kind of have an identity at that point based on what happens. But if everybody just stays in constant, she'll bring everybody in and say, why don't we take a breath here? So maybe you might want to say, guys, we need to bring it down here, let's see what happens. But that's where a good MD can kind of help us.
Like, for instance, last night with Living Water, we would normally come, do you guys know that song, Living Water? You do now. It's a really good song, isn't it? It's so beautiful. So last night, normally we would the whole band would come in full at the turnaround, right after the first chorus. Well, once we got to that point, it did not feel right for us to do that. And that's not a music thing, that's just a feeling thing. Like, you would have to have somebody be able to discern that.
Yeah.
So I just said, let's wait to come in, and we kept it just pulled back until later in the song. It just felt like that was the right thing to do. But so that's one thing. The other side of that is you may have a band that is just way too hesitant. Like, you may have the flip side of what he's saying, because I work with both kinds of drummers, for instance. There's some drummers that'll jump in too quickly in a moment, and then there's some that I have to constantly say, come on, like, I need more from you. And so it's better for me to say pull back than to say come on sometimes from a drummer. But so you may end up with a band that's more for any of you guys that end up leading a band or something. you may have a more hesitant band where you feel like you're constantly like, come on, like, let's go, instead of, okay, let's wait a minute, you know, so you might have both sides to that coin. So, you guys are kind of getting off topic, but it's fun.
Do you expect your synth players to be fluent in the software, or does your music director set that up for them?
They should be able to handle it on their own.
Okay.
Yeah, they should be able to handle it on their own. We have weekday services too, where they're practicing and they're learning. So if they're, you know, they're probably not just coming into a weekend service for the way we have stuff set up. They're probably not just coming into a weekend service cold, just right out of the chute and not knowing anything about the software. So there's been coaching, one-on-one, shadowing, like if somebody's coming on the weekend that I don't know, maybe I'll get with them during the week, make sure they feel comfortable, that kind of thing. But there's all kinds of coaching, one-on-one stuff that happens before, so that they know how to troubleshoot and stuff. Now it's not to say there's going to be something that happens that they don't know what to do with, but there's still stuff that I have to get his help on. So there was one other question.
How do you communicate when you say come down to the band? Do you do it vocally through a mic?
I have a mic.
So you go and they
I'm
just
talking
use
the
your
whole time.
ears.
A lot of voices in their heads.
So I was trying to watch her on stage and I'm thinking, you're looking over there, is she telling her commands? Is she
Right,
got some kind of code or
Yeah, we
something?
try to
I'm
be
just
as
curious.
discreet as possible for sure, but
Yeah.
that way, because it really does help if you do have an in-ear system like that to have a music director, if you have somebody that can really help, because then the whole band isn't worried about watching the leader the whole time. It's just one person that really needs to be focused on the leader, and then they can help communicate everything else, as opposed to the worship leader like really dramatically signaling something to everyone. If they know for sure that one person is watching them all the time, then I notice the subtle stuff, you know, and you start to know the different worship leaders and how they move and stuff like that. So
Can you demonstrate how you do that in the microphone, and are you waiting like at a specific time to give a direction so you're not playing on top of the hook or something like that, or speaking on
yes
top of it?
and no, I guess. I try to time everything where sometimes if somebody even asks for a mix change, I might wait a couple measures or wait until we get to a certain part of the song maybe to ask or something like that. So I do try to time stuff where it's not going to just be a horrible time to say something. Or for instance, I do try to have good timing with it.
Are you using the voice that you're using right now? Is that same
No,
level?
I'm probably a little bit louder.
Well, and the other thing too is if we're using click and guide, the guide is calling everything. So
Oh,
Jess
okay.
is
If we're
not
using
calling
tracks,
that.
there'll be
Yeah,
guide on
so
it.
Jess isn't calling that stuff because we can hear that stuff.
Gotcha.
So then at that point, she's a traffic cop. She's watching the worship leader, and if the worship leader is wanting to change direction, she's in tune with that, and then she'll say, kill the tracks. When we come down for this chorus, we're gonna stay down, or we're gonna go a different direction. So then at that point, the tracks go away, then she's our guide again. But in a song where it's a standard map, the click and guide are going, she's really not talking too much at that point, because she shouldn't have to. We know the songs, the guide is calling everything. Why is she talking if the guide is talking, right? But really,
Or if
it's,
there's a certain spot I know they might mess up,
Yes.
or like I know something's coming that has been a hiccup for us before, or something we changed, or whatever. It's just kind of reminders, or making sure we're just kind of staying on track the whole way through. But yeah, I probably get louder and I probably yell sometimes,
Oh, you
and I
yell,
get like
you're
really
pretty
excited.
consistent.
I try to stay pretty consistent though. I do think it's fun for a female's voice because there is a tendency to have a little bit more of a sharper tone that stands out more in a mix than a male voice, but that's not like a feminist thing, that's
No.
just actually a
Yeah.
thing. So I love doing it. I love it so much, and it's just so become part of, I would be maybe nervous sometimes doing it if somebody else is doing it. Like, you know, I would be able to trust them doing it, but I love doing it. So,
So you're singing in front of house too at times? Is that what you?
Talk to front of house, yeah.
Or I mean, are you singing in
I
the
sing
house?
sometimes for our youth services and things like that, but I'm normally music directing.
Okay, so you're not using like a cough drop or something to switch your voice from in ear to.
I have done that before with like a panic button.
Uh-huh.
I have done that before, but
Have you ever given signals in the house?
No, I haven't.
Okay.
Because her mic is never in the house.
It shouldn't be,
It's not,
yeah.
the
Okay.
MD mic is never, ever in the house. It's designated.
I think it's ended up on our broadcast mix once
Yeah.
or twice.
Oh, really?
That can happen up there, that can happen.
Definitely
Yeah.
happened.
Wow.
Yeah, and we did a live recording in Peru this past year, and, yeah, you were there. And we have my talkback recorded from the night, and it was a really, really insane night, like one of the more insane things I've ever music directed. And so it was the weirdest experience listening to my talkback back, because I had never heard myself doing it.
Yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, it's
Wow.
fun. It sounded really chaotic. To listen back, it almost made me croak out in rashes. Anyway, there's another question. Did you guys have one?
On Monday night, the Chinese guy missed his cue.
Uh-huh.
It's quite obvious. How much do you have to communicate to your band to get everybody back on the same track? Because the track is moving along.
Right.
Probably you had track height.
Right, so that night, I was actually cueing, I think, almost all those leads. And so for our video guys too, they need to know all of those cues, and there were so many different leaders, and they're not people we work with all the time, that kind of thing. So in that case, I don't remember if I had cued that specific one, but I was cueing each individual one. And there was a guide on that track too. It just so happened that it just was something that happened. So we just keep rolling, and it's just part of it.
We didn't get off.
We didn't get off or anything, we just kept rolling. Musically speaking, we just kept on going. It's not, I mean, I'm very perfectionist oriented, so I struggle to accept the imperfections in a lot of things, but it's just part of it, and it's just, I mean, you'll just be in a stress flood if you don't learn to start accepting a few things, so yeah, we just keep going.
We're all human.
Do what?
We're all human.
Yeah, very human,
Yeah.
very human, so.
Has there ever been a total crash and burn?
Absolutely.
What did you do?
I don't know.
You blacked out.
I don't know.
What happened to the screens last time?
That I don't know.
It's something I don't know.
I think I heard something happen to him too, and yeah, the side screens went out or
Right.
something, yeah. That stuff can happen, and that's, is it a power failure, is it a blown breaker? I mean, we're almost like a small city when we run church service.
Oh, indeed.
We're drawing a power source that's huge, so.
You just do what you can, and it has helped me, music directing has helped me be able to, you have to make fast decisions and fast calls and stuff, and so it has helped you with like quick decision making, quick, you have to be real fast with whatever you're deciding. Like last night, one of our clicks went down, and so we had to decide in that moment if we were gonna try to get back on with the track, or if we were gonna just ditch it and be on it. Like, well, it's gotta be a split second thing, so it has kind of adjusted my personality in a lot of ways, just to, even outside of church life, just, it's interesting, so.
You touched on sounds and patches a little bit
Yes.
earlier. Could you expand on that?
Yes, Kevin.
So we use Mainstage on our laptops, and behind Mainstage, we're pulling in sounds from Omnisphere, Native Instruments, other third-party synth plugins. Kevin.melton@gatewaystaff.com is my email. Email me, we're out of time. Email me anytime. I can share information, share links. We are all virtual now, even her piano. When she was playing piano this morning, that's Alicia's keys with Native Instruments that she's using, with like a slight ambient noise pad behind her piano to give her some ambient sound. So when we're piano keys, she's doing everything. When we're piano divided in keys, then she's mainly piano, but we're all virtual now. So the CP300s are completely just controllers. We're just triggering laptops from there. And then on the key side, we use an MPK88 for the key side, but we've actually had people ask us, are you guys reading your charts from those laptops up there? No, it's actual samples, so we're doing all that.
Do you have a Nord or?
We did use a Nord, we recently just got one, and we use it for
Also,
special
if you need to go,
stuff.
I just realized we're over on time, so if you need
Yeah.
to step out, you're totally.
Yeah,
free.
so we do have a Nord that we use for special stuff, but we standardize having 7 campuses, so you're gonna see the same instruments at every campus with the same software no one can do their own thing. We're all one church, many locations, same sounds, all that stuff, so. They email her or me anytime, we can help you anytime, so.
We'd be happy to,
Yeah,
absolutely.
even
happy
today,
to.
as we're walking around, grab me and let's chat. I love techie geeky stuff.
Okay, you're officially dismissed. If you have more questions, feel free to stay. We're here for another session.